Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So today's video, I'm very excited because I have a bunch of new products from Sephora Collection. So I have 5 new products and one that I've had but I haven't done a video on, and I'm going to compare it to these, but I've actually only used it once, but I addressed it in one of my declutters. But I have 3 powder products and 2 lipsticks and a cream contour. So I picked up all of these with the exception of the one, this one. I picked these up in the recent Sephora sale. Now you might have noticed I did not do a video promoting the sale and my recommendations. And the reason is because I just don't think the sale is that good. And I did a couple videos at one point years ago, and I just don't do it anymore because I just don't think the sale's that good. I definitely love the Ulta sale, but the Sephora sale, it's just, I only get 15%. So I personally don't like promoting it, but I do think it's great for the Sephora collection because I do think the Sephora collection products are really good, where a lot of them are really good, and these are 30%. So I did pick up a couple and I'm gonna try them out today. Okay, so let's start with what I'm going to be covering today. So first this is the product that I had already that I think I got this in the last sale. And this is considered a blush, but you will notice it's pretty much gray. So this is part of the colorful blush collection, and it's normally $14, but it's like a gray. And I picked it up thinking it'd be a good contour, which it is. It's very gray though. I mean, it's the shade is called Second Chance. So, but they just came out with an actual contour. So this is in the shade 2 light to medium. So here is the contour, and we'll talk about that in a second. So that's the contour. And then they also just reformulated their bronzer. And I have the shade 1 Golden Gateway, which I believe is the second lightest. So here is this. Now this one, I've swatched them already. This is really nice. I have not tried it on, but I've swatched it. Really, really nice. So that is the bronzer. And then they have a cream contour, which is exciting because, well, I have some cream bronzers. I don't even know if I have any cream contour. I have a liquid contour from Moira, but I'm not sure if I have any cream contour. So here is the cream contour. So again, this is in the shade light to medium. So that's what we'll be going over. And then I have 2 lipsticks. So here are the 2 lipsticks. I just basically 2 lipsticks that came out. I'll be going over them. I'll try them each on, but I just got one of each shade. And these I think were $16, so they came out to maybe just under 12. So again, 30% off. I think the Sephora collection is great, but I do recommend waiting for one of their sales because it is 30% off several times throughout the year. So those are the 6 products we're going to go over today. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled my hair back. I did want to go ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try the 2 powder products on first, and I'm going to put one on each side so that you can see a side-by-side comparison with the 2 shades because they're very similar, but this one is definitely more gray and this one's a little bit more neutral. So I'm going to put one on each side, then I'm going to take it off, and then I will do the cream contour with the bronzer. So that way, I was trying to figure out how to do it just because I have so many contour products. I have pretty much three contour products. So first is the colorful blush. Like I said, this is the shade Second Chance. So you'll see here, and I do have a swatch comparison that I did in the sunlight that I'll show in a little bit, but here is that shade. So it's very, very gray. And then this is the contour. And like I said, this is the shade 2 light to medium. They're both $14. So during the Sephora sale, they come out to be under $10 and like $9.80. And then here is that shade. So honestly, I do think the actual contour one is better, but we're gonna try them out. So it also feels a little creamier. I mean, this one's not old, it's fairly new too. It does feel a little bit creamier, but you can see this one's definitely more gray and this one's a little bit more neutral. There's this one only comes in 4 shades, so I got number 2 light to medium. So so there's 4 shades. This is the second to lightest, and then this one is one of the blushes, so it's only It's only this shade that is like the gray. But so what I'll do is I will put, we'll start with the blush one, the Second Chance. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to put it on this side here and wear it just as a contour, just to kind of see how it wears as a contour. Now I probably put a little too much on, but I'll take this off and blend it out a little bit, but it blends out pretty well. But just to kind of see a side-by-side comparison. Okay, so here is the side with Second Chance, which is the colorful blush. Again, very gray, but a great contour. And then now we're gonna go in with this actual Sephora contour, the brand new product. Again, this is also $14. So during a Sephora sale, it is usually, you know, it's gonna be under $10. So gonna try and go a little bit lighter on this one. And I would say as far as contour, I think this one's gonna be better. I mean, I thought this was kind of weird that this was in there, and especially as a blush. But again, I bought it and then thought that it was meant to be a contour, and then they came out with the contour. So this one, I think between the two, I definitely like the actual contour is really nice, but we'll see. Okay, and here is the side with the actual contour. So I'll just put them here so you just can see the side-by-side comparison. Very subtle difference, but I definitely like the contour side better, which makes sense. And I kind of picked this side, this shade. I probably could have gone with the lightest shade because this is actually pretty pigmented. And if it's the same as the blushes, I think the blushes have good longevity, except for the lightest shades. The lightest shades I've heard, I knew to avoid the lightest shade, so I didn't purchase any of those. The ones that I have great longevity, especially some of my favorite ones. But so I would expect that these are gonna have really good longevity. I'm not doing a wear test today, but I've been very happy with the Sephora formula. So again, here is the Second Chance blush, and here is the contour in light medium. Okay, so I took off those powders. Now we're gonna get into the cream contour stick, and this was the one that I was really excited about. Now, this is brand new, it's $14, and it comes in 4 shades. And again, I got the second to lightest shade, which is 02 light to medium. And it seems to be really nice. Now, I've only swatched it. You can see the other two are still there. Here is the cream contour. So it goes on really nice, but I have only swatched it. I haven't put it on. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Now here I am going to put it as the contour, and then with the bronzer, I'll do the bronzer around the face. But I'm gonna be using the Anissa brush that I love, which does like the contour, which is great for, especially for cream products. But again, I'm just gonna put it here and see how it blends out. Again, just like I said earlier, I probably could have gotten the lightest shade. They weren't in stock in store yet when I got them. So I wanted to, you know, I wasn't able to swatch them. So I think with like fair to light and light to medium, I kind of always err on the darker because I can just go a little bit lighter handed rather than trying to wear more product. That's personally my personal preference, but I do think this is pretty good. And it's blending out pretty nicely. Okay, and I'm gonna go on the other side as well. Gonna do the same thing on this side and then just blending it out. So it is blending out pretty nicely. Okay, so there it is applied. So I went in and looked at what the reviews were saying. So a couple people had issues with the packaging. One person, I think the lowest rating was a 1 star, and person said like it leaves a sticky residue, the tape, and yeah, you can see mine has a little sticky residue. I don't care about that. I mean, that happens with drugstore makeup. This is the price of a drugstore makeup, so that doesn't bother me, but you know, I guess that bothers some people. However, just like the ones from Milk Makeup, I guess the product was falling out because sometimes it gets melted and it becomes loose from the base. And they were saying also it doesn't have a lot of product. So that is the amount of product that you receive. However, you don't need a lot. Like, this is gonna last a while, and I paid $10 for this. Whereas this probably has the same amount of product that the Milk Makeup one has, smaller container, but it's probably about the same. And that one's like 24. So, you know, And now this is normally $14, but again, there's always a Sephora sale at least twice a year, but usually there's another sale for Sephora Collection another time a year. So, and then a lot of people were saying it was oily. So I think that's it's creamy. I don't feel like it's oily, but I guess if you have oily skin, maybe you would feel that way. However, there are some people saying that it fades quickly. So I thought it blended easily, but I haven't worn it. So that's something I'll have to kind of report back on of how this wears longevity wise. So how I handle that usually is I will layer. So I'll use a cream and then powder, and then I will go in with a powder. That's what I do with all my products. That's what makes it last. So, but I mean, that is a valid complaint as far as, this might have longevity issues because it is so creamy and it fades quickly. So be aware of that. But so far for me, I like it, especially for the price. I like it. I'm not gonna say I love it yet. I'm cautiously optimistic because of these, like as far as the packaging and not being enough product, those to me aren't complaints that are going to affect me because that's fine. But as far as longevity, if it fades quickly, that's going to be a disappointment. So we'll see how I like it. I'll report back on this. I'm definitely due for a speed review on a lot of the products I've been using this in 2024. So definitely will include this one, but I don't know, we'll see. Okay, next up is their brand new bronzer. So this is a matte bronzer. And here it is. Again, there's 5 shades. I have the second to lightest shade. This is One Golden Gateway. This is for light to medium skin tones. And it says it's a bronzing powder that has a hybrid creamy silky texture that melts into the skin for a natural sun-kissed result. And I will say, having swatched it, it does feel very creamy. So what I also did is I did look at some of the reviews because it is fairly new. So there are some reviews, you can see how creamy it is. That is, again, this is the cream contour, this is that bronzer. These are the two. I actually had my sleeve down so they kind of rubbed off. Those were the two before. I do have, this is a picture in the sunlight. On the left is the Second Chance blush. The middle is the contour powder, and all the way to the right is the bronzer. So those are the 3, so you can kind of compare. Those are the 3 powder products. Now I wanted to look at some of the negative reviews. Now this one actually has like 4.5 star reviews, fairly new, but I wanted to see what, the negative reviews were saying. So one, a lot of people were complaining about the smell. Now there is a smell, but I don't smell it until I smell it, like I put my nose up there. But when I'm just looking at it, I don't smell it. There's several reviews about the smell. So that's the major complaint that people are complaining about. And then some people are saying that it's too orange. So what I would say is if you're looking, I don't think this is gonna be too orange or too warm. It looked like it was shade 02 and I have shade 01. So I would say is if you are looking at a particular shade, maybe look at the reviews to see if that one is, people are complaining it's too orangey or whatever. But yeah, we're just gonna try this on and see, hopefully I like it. And just gonna put it on like so around the face, just kind of bronzing up the face a little bit to give some warmth to the skin. And then what I'm also gonna do is I'm going to use this as an eyeshadow. I didn't put an eyeshadow on today, so I'm gonna use it as an eyeshadow too, because I like doing bronzer sometimes as an eyeshadow or as an eyeshadow base. Okay, so I put the bronzer on around my face. I like it. I have to see, definitely when I get to, use it in sunlight and use it on my own, see if I really like it. I will say it's not as pigmented as I thought it was gonna be. Like the blushes, a lot of them, like you saw with the contour, I almost put too much, or the Second Chance blush, I almost put too much. So this one, I felt like I needed to kind of pick up more. But it's a different formula. So it's kind of like it said, a hybrid creamy. So it's not as, I guess, pigmented as I thought, but that's actually not bad either, because sometimes with bronzer, I tend to get a little heavy handed, but I like it so far. And I'll continue to use it and see how I like it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a BK Beauty brush, and I'm just going to use this as kind of an eyeshadow and just place it all over the lid, which is kind of how I do it, just kind of in the crease and then just all over the lid and just kind of making it a little bit of an eyeshadow. Okay, so here's the bronzer as kind of a one and done eyeshadow. Went on really nice. It actually went on really, really nice. And as far as it builds up really nice. So I did switch to a Sigma brush. So really nice. So like it. I do that a lot with bronzers, kind of using this sometimes either under a cream shadow or under like my Eyes to Mesmerize or a like Wonder Super Shock or Sparkly, or just by itself, just to kind of add a little color to the lid. But I do like that. And usually when I like it on the lid, I will like it on my face too. So otherwise I think it went on really nice. I will probably use a different brush. I have a different bronzer brush, but haven't completely unpacked. But I like it so far. Still, again, one of those things where, you know, first impression is good, but probably need to, you know, really test it out a little bit more to get a full feel. So I'm going to put a little bit of mascara and then come back so we can test out the lipsticks. Okay, so I put a little mascara on. Now we're gonna go over the two lipsticks. So the two lipsticks, these came out again pretty recently, but just in time for the Sephora sale. These are $16. The first one is called the About That Shine Sheer Shine Lipstick. I have the shade 03 Desert Glow, which actually did sell out. It's supposed to be very sheer, and it states that it's a lightweight lipstick with eye-catching prismatic shine that provides lips with a sheer flush of color and a 12-hour moisturizing balm-like texture. Again, it was hard. They weren't in stores, so I wasn't able to swatch them. So I've got all these swatches on my arm, but this is Desert Glow. So you can see it is pretty sheer, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be too dark, because if you look at it, it looks pretty dark, but it's sheer. So the other shade, there's another shade that sold out that is Soft Twinkle, which was, and then there's also, I think, Beige Sparkle, which is 01. I was looking at the first three shades. I ended up with going with Desert Glow, which was the first to sell out. So obviously a lot of people liked me, thought this was the best shade. So, but I'm gonna apply this. I don't have any liner because I didn't want to affect the color. So I'm just going to apply this and then see how I like it. Okay, so here is Desert Glow. Now I will say, when I first got it and I swatched it, I actually thought it was going to be too dark for me, or too dark for my preference. I actually love it, and now I can see why it sold out. But very comfortable. It is the description is very accurate. It feels kind of something of a hybrid between a balm and a lipstick, like a very sheer lipstick. So definitely something, a formula that I don't really have a lot of. It's definitely a lot sheerer than the Kissing formula from Charlotte Tilbury. It's definitely not a balm. It does feel like a hybrid between the two. Like if they were to mix the ingredients together, this would be what they came up with. But this is Desert Glow. And so far I really like it. As far as longevity, I think I definitely would wear a liner, so that would help with longevity. I'm not sure how long it would last. And so I'll have to, again, report back on that. But I don't really care about longevity for, if I'm wearing a lipstick like this, longevity is not that important to me, because if I'm really concerned about longevity, I'm going to be wearing like a matte lipstick. But, you know, I also don't want it to come off in 5 minutes. So, but this is the Desert Glow. Okay, now we're gonna go over the other lipstick, and this is called the About That Shine Lacquer Shine Lipstick. So I have the shade 1 Magnetic Wave. The one thing I hate about Sephora is they don't really have the descriptions. Like there's all these names, but you don't have, you know, because usually it'll be like a name and then it's like Cool Rose, Warm Rose, whatever. It doesn't have that, it just has the name. So you just kind of have to kind of figure it out. But I think it's a really pretty color. It's called Magnetic Wave. It's the #1. And I'm just gonna do a swatch here just to kind of see. Now, these I feel like, it says that it's sheer, but I think these have a little bit more pigment. We'll see when I put it on. But the description, so again, these are also $16. So again, during Sephora sale, comes out to just under $12. And it is described as a lacquer lipstick with prismatic shine and long-lasting intense color. This lipstick contains pigments with unrivaled power to reflect light for maximum prismatic shine. Their spectral structure reflects the light more intensely than traditional pearls. Its balm formula coats your lips with the feeling of hydration for 12 hours, and its high coverage amplifies your lips with a perfectly opaque color. So what I think is the difference, because I was kind of trying to figure out what's the difference between the two. I think this one just has a little bit more pigment, but we'll see. So I'm going to do the same thing and just apply it like I did the other. Okay, so here is Magnetic Wave. Again, this is the shade 01. Both have 15 shades, and definitely they're very similar in structure. Again, this is kind of something, it's a shine. It's a little bit of a hybrid between a lipstick and a balm. However, this one is not as sheer as this one. So this one has a little bit, it's a little bit sheer. These are a little bit more opaque than the other one. So the other one's a little bit more sheer, but again, I like this color. So I got, I have kind of more of a pinky shade or a mauve shade, where this one is more of a neutral, warm shade, but I'm not sure which one I like more. I probably like the formula of this one more, just because it has a little bit more color payoff. But I think I liked the color Desert Glow more, but that was a darker shade. I think if I had gone with Beige Sparkle, which is 01, or even the one right before, which was 02, I think it might have been too light because it's such a sheer formula. But again, but it's very, very comfortable on the lips. It says it's long lasting, and it provides like 12 hours of hydration. I can't see this being that long lasting, but again, when I get a shine lipstick, I'm not expecting, 12 hours of wear, but I think it's very, very comfortable. It does feel hydrating, and I like the color too. Okay, so let's go over everything and I'll tell you which ones I recommend. So as far as the powder contour, I would say this one is the blush one that I had gotten in the past. This one I would say pass, because I think the actual contour is better. I think it's better, especially if you're my skin tone. I think this is just a prettier contour. Not that this is bad, and if you have it, you definitely don't need this, but this one, I would say go with the actual contour. I like the light to medium. I like it. I think it's a good product. So this one, and I don't not recommend this one. So I think both are good, but I would recommend the contour over the actual like gray blush. The cream contour, I like it. It's very creamy. It blended out really nicely. Again, I don't have issues with the packaging. I don't have issues with the amount of product, because the price, I paid $10 for this. Even if I paid full price for it, it's still about the same amount of product you're gonna get with Milk makeup. With that said, it went on nice. It was very blendable. I liked the way it looked. I just don't know about longevity. And that was one of the complaints in the reviews, was that it faded really quickly. So I'll have to report back on that. But my initial impressions is I like it. And then the bronzer, I actually like the bronzer. It's really nice. It's probably not going to be my favorite bronzer, but because I think my favorite bronzer right now is probably going to be the Pat McGrath. But this one I think it's a nice bronzer, especially for the price. It ends up being like $12, whereas the Pat McGrath is not. So if you're looking for a good, again, it's normally $16, but if you're looking for a nice matte bronzer that's not going to break the bank, wait for a Sephora sale and maybe pick these up. I would just be concerned if you were concerned with the bronzer being maybe too orange. Look at them and swatch them in store, because that's one of the complaints that people were talking about, that some of them are too orangey. I didn't think this one was. Also, if you are sensitive to smells, that could be a concern too. I don't think it has a heavy scent, and it doesn't bother me. I didn't smell it while I was applying it, but a lot of people were complaining about it, so keep that in mind. And finally, the two lipsticks. I really like these. I really like these, and I think if I apply them with a nice, like, waterproof lip liner, such as the Hourglass or the Charlotte Tilbury, I think these are gonna have like really nice longevity, and will still be very pretty, but I do really like them. Super comfortable. So all in all, liking all the products. I think they're great. So far, my first impressions are good and no complaints here. So I would say definitely during the next Sephora sale or next time the Sephora collection is on sale, I would definitely, you know, take these products into consideration. And if you're in Sephora, definitely, you know, play with them, swatch them, see what color. That way when you go to purchase them when there is a sale, you know which shade is yours. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.